Welcome to another fabulous edition of Vinyl Ventures. And on this episode, this season, we're trying something a little new. We're trying to be topical on some of our shows, do themed shows. So this one is good old VD Day, Valentine's Day.
Oh,
not the disease.
Not the disease.
No.
Well, the other thing that I've started doing is wearing underwear.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, and it's working out great so far. So,
well, good. You got that. You got that going for you.
I've also started stopping at red lights.
Ooh, how about yellows?
Nah,
no. That's
speed up.
Go.
Yeah. So, tell me a little about the genesis of this idea for the VD show.
Well, we were trying to come up with show ideas, so that was, and it being February and close to Valentine's Day, we thought, why not?
Why not? I love the idea, and I love the more topical stuff. Sometimes it's difficult to do that because the schedule that we have, we can't always. But we've been really good about recording a bunch of shows. After today, we'll have a few in the can.
Yeah, and so this show is going to be about love, kisses,
hugging,
whatever you deem Valentine's Day to be.
Yeah. And it's interpreted in many different ways.
Very true.
By many different people. I love the fact that White Castle, like 10 years ago, started doing the table service on Valentine's Day.
Really?
You can make a reservation and go in and sit at a table. They'll come take your order. Yeah. So
I'm going to have to put that on. That'll get you big points, let me tell you.
Yeah, take the wife to the aluminum room. That's a good idea.
Oh, we're going to, ooh. Pray tell.
Why did you tell me to wear diapers tonight, John? Off topic, but sorry.
Underwear's underwear.
Yeah, yeah. So, do you guys still celebrate Valentine's Day in the traditional sense, or
not really?
No.
It's we're past the marathon stage.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a long race.
Yeah, you're in like mile 40.
Yeah, we're in ultra marathon.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
So it's been going on a while.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's Valentine's Day. Cool.
Yeah.
Woohoo.
Here's a candy bar.
Yeah. Might get a card, might not.
So romantic. Well, we already have a record up here.
Yes, we do.
As your first choice.
We love rock and roll.
We do love rock and roll.
I love rock and roll. Joan Jett. So that's our first love.
I love it.
Yes.
I've been swimming in raw sewage. Joan Jett, recent inductee into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Such a cool artist. The one thing that I thought was really strange was that stadium tour that happened last year with Motley, Def Leppard, Poison, and then Joan Jett's thrown on there.
Yeah.
It's great. I think it's a great idea to expose her music to anybody else that hadn't already been exposed to it. But she's been around forever, man. She was a runaway. Then she had the solo career. I saw her perform with Nirvana at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2014.
Yeah, she has. I mean, she really kind of entered the world as being like a underground garage rock, the Runaways.
Yeah,
and then kind of burst onto the new wave scene.
Yeah,
and I guess
her career happened at the perfect time for a female rock artist because you had Pat Benatar basically kicking the doors down for everybody.
Yes.
Bands like the Go-Go's, Donna Summer,
Heart. There were all kinds of bands.
Diana Ross.
Yeah.
I mean, Olivia Newton-John, R.I.P. I mean,
that's one thing that happened in the 70s. So many different. It opened the door for female artists, especially.
Yeah.
I mean, even though there were, in the 60s, there were female artists, but now there were female artists that, hey, they controlled their own destiny.
Yeah. And that's awesome. Have you had this for a long time?
I've had this. I think I've had this. Well, I don't know. I may have got this at one of the shows.
I don't even know the other songs on this.
Well, did you know I Love Rock and Roll is a cover?
Yeah, I knew that she didn't write it.
Yeah. And who wrote it? Alan Merrill and Jake Hooker. First recorded by the Arrows.
Huh. That's interesting. And of course, that opens the record.
Yeah, and for Joan Jett, it became a top 100 hit, which
I mean, it's
everybody. It still gets played on the radio.
It's her biggest hit.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
And thank God she recorded this, because without that, we wouldn't have "I Love Rocky Road" by Weird Al Yankovic, which is a classic in and of itself.
The original came out in '75 by the Arrows.
And then what year is this? Is this like 79?
This is 81.
Oh, 81.
Yeah.
Man, I thought it was earlier than that. So you've got "I Love Rock and Roll," "I'm Gonna Run Away," "Love Is Pain."
Another cover,
Yeah.
Crimson and Clover.
Crimson and Clover. That's awesome. I think I like that version of it better than the Tommy James and Shondells version.
And I don't know for sure, but you got to think Little Drummer Boy is that the pa rumpa pum pum?
I don't know. Have you not listened to it that far in the?
Well, I've listened. I don't remember every single song.
Are you saying that you may have been in another state of consciousness last time you listened to Joan Jett?
Could be.
It's a great record. There are some artists who are known for one song and one song only, and I really think that she's done a really good job having this huge hit at toward the beginning of her career. She's kind of turned that into more than just being a one-hit wonder. I mean, Crimson and Clover was kind of a semi-hit for her. She has been a great, not just female artist, but great artist. I mean, she's got a certain style. She commands the stage when she plays.
Absolutely.
There's
and
no
she
doubt about
inspired a look for female artists.
Yeah.
I mean, that is like a look that's been carbon copied so many times.
Yeah. It's awesome. I love her. I think she's great. You never hear a lot about her personal life either.
No.
And it's just,
she probably likes it that way.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I mean, she is Joan Jett.
Yeah.
And when she's not Joan Jett, she's got a life, and you got to respect that.
Yeah. So what do you got?
My first one is one of the first ones I thought of when we talked about this. First off, there is a round hype sticker, which is verboten. Al Green, Greatest Hits. This was originally released in 1975. In 2003, the album was ranked number 52 on Rolling Stone magazine's list of the 500 greatest albums of all time. This is literally just packed with great music. And then you throw in, films like Pulp Fiction, using Al Green, which just cements it and drives it further into the collective psyche of everyone. I love listening to Al Green on vinyl. It's got that, I don't know, it's kind of ethereal.
And this thing's packed with like love type
Absolutely,
songs.
Absolutely.
Let's Get Married.
Yep.
Tired of Being Alone. Yeah. It's all love and happiness.
Yeah. Here I Am, Come and Take Me. Let's Stay Together.
Yeah.
I Can't Get Next to You. You Ought to Be With Me. Look What You've Done for Me. Let's Get Married. Yeah. And I love all the pictures of him too, and his. I don't know.
I want that suit. I mean, a lot of people would say, "Look at the bling Al has on that bracelet, the necklace, the ring." No, I want those pants.
Yeah, I do too. This is Fat Possum Records.
Oh, they do the Black Keys.
And this came with a digital download when I got it, which is very interesting. Yeah, Al Green is just great. He's still going today. I don't even
really?
I don't even know how old he is, but
he's got to be up there.
He's certainly up there. But when we talked about the idea of a show centered around love or love songs or anti-love songs, I'm sure there are going to be some interesting ones as we go. But Al Green was one of actually the first person I thought of was Barry White.
Ooh, yeah.
I thought I had some Barry White records, but I couldn't find them.
I've got a Barry White's Greatest Hits. I didn't even think about that one.
Yeah, I mean, he's the first dude that I think of when you're talking about love songs.
Yeah.
But I do have some records that I've gotten that haven't been alphabetized and put into place. I need to buy another Calax.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm out of space. So there's floor space in front of my records that I need to get taken care of. But yeah, Al Green, definitely on that list of dudes that you just immediately think of when you're thinking about love songs.
Well, and there are a lot of soul singers that have love songs. I mean, it's part of the genre.
Yeah, and believe me, I mean, I try not to bring the same records in here and talk about them, but I absolutely would have brought Sam and Dave. I absolutely would have brought Sam Cooke. I absolutely would have brought Stevie Wonder, but I've talked about all three of those like in the last few episodes. So trying to bob and weave within my collection and bring something different. So what's next for you?
Well, I'm gonna give you the bob. You stay with the weave.
Okay.
Stevie Wonder's Greatest Hits Volume 2.
I love the cover of this.
Yeah.
It is so
And this
cool.
is an old, I've had this one for a while. This is an older one, but I mean, it's a lot like Al Green. So many songs are about love.
Yeah.
Signed, sealed, delivered, I'm yours.
Yeah.
I love the big type songs on the front.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's something that even the back of albums sometimes don't have the track listing, which absolutely drives me bonkers. But I do love just implementing in the artwork, implementing the titles of the songs. And he does We Can Work It Out on here. His version of that is very, very good.
Yeah. If you have a Valentine's dinner and you want to get romantic, put this on.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'll work. Trust me.
Yeah. Work how, John?
It'll work.
You can't go wrong with Stevie.
Yeah. It's beautiful. It's beautiful music.
Emotional.
Yeah.
And the best thing about it is every time I hear Stevie, I think this dude played all of the instruments on this. This dude wrote this.
Yeah.
And it's super impressive. Like I said, I think in the last episode, I think he is very underrated.
Oh, without a doubt. And this was his Greatest Hits Volume 2. They came out in 1971.
He was prolific in the late 60s and 70s, man.
Yeah. And I mean, his career stretched on. It's still going.
What's the back of this look like? Oh, it's a black and white picture. Tamla Records, which is a division of Motown. Yeah. Shooby Dooby Da Day. Wait a minute. Shooby Dooby Doo Da Day. Okay, that's that. When you can open up a record with that, you're a pretty big star.
Yeah, you're a big star.
That's great.
Yeah. If You Really Love Me, For Once in My Life.
That's a good song.
Yeah.
I love Up Here in the Corner.
The Motown
sound.
Yeah.
Did you find this at a show or?
Probably.
That's very cool. I've never seen this.
I've never seen it either.
That's awesome. I love it, man. That's very cool. 71?
71.
Wow. I was negative 3 years old. This next one I'm talking about because one of the big singles off of it happens to be one of my favorite sappy love songs. But this also just happens to be one of the more infamous records today. And this is Van Halen Balance.
Ooh.
This is my original press of this. And I don't know. I didn't
Shouldn't you have special gloves for this because it's worth so much?
Yeah, I should. Which, so many records came out in that post-'80s explosion. Like, the 80s from the beginning to the very end exploded with not just singer-songwriters in the early part of the decade, but then the middle to the late part of the decade, you had hair metal, you had all of that stuff, and like all of these love songs or power ballads kind of became a big thing. And it's just interesting in the mid-'90s where I think this came out in 95.
Well, and we're in the full CD phase. Record companies have said, we're not going to produce vinyl anymore. And
yeah. So this came out January 24, 1995. And I was in college at the time at Ball State, and this was the time when I bought new releases on CD and cassette because I didn't have a CD player. I don't think I had a CD player in my car.
They were kind of still pretty expensive. Well, there weren't many in cars at that time.
Yeah, so I went to the Target in Muncie, bought this on CD and bought it on cassette. And I used to keep my receipts for all my records that I bought too. So a lot of CDs I have, I'll flip through the books and there's a receipt and it tells me when I bought it, which is kind of cool or dorky. But there's a song on this.
So you bought it on CD and cassette. When did the vinyl come into your...
I want to say like 2 years later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 2 years later I got this. And I don't even remember where I got it. But it's just so odd. That was at a time where I always say I never really stopped collecting vinyl. There just became fewer and fewer places to buy it.
Right.
So I think I got this 2 years later. So I had it on all three, cassette, vinyl, CD.
Yeah, so if anybody's listening, tell them how much the last time you checked Balance is worth on vinyl.
I think at its highest, I was seeing a last sold on Discogs for like, $385. And that's what I was just getting ready to say was it was that intersection between CDs, taking off and vinyl going the opposite direction. And I never knew until you and I started picking that it was worth that because I never would expect.
Yeah, they're just, you put them on the shelf, you listen to them.
I mean, in the mid-'90s, these guys were the biggest band in the world.
Oh, yeah.
And I just never would have expected something that I thought would have been produced in larger numbers. And I think that they just produced fewer of the vinyl copies of this.
Right.
And that's why it's worth so much. But, man, I put it on a couple months ago, and it just sounds great. It's a great press. I've taken care of it. The jacket's taken care of. But the big song on here, the reason I put this up here is because there's a song called Can't Stop Loving You. And it's probably my favorite, like, power ballad that they did with Sammy. I was just working last week, and I heard it at a restaurant when I was there for lunch. And I was like,
Can't Stop Loving You. Yeah.
Eddie's birthday was just on the 26th. It was just, not long ago. So it's still hard to believe that he's dead. But yeah, that was one that when we talked about the Love Show, I'm absolutely bringing Balance because we kind of talk about it a lot.
Yeah.
But I've never brought it in. But
that's awesome.
Yeah. And I love the picture of them on the back too.
That's a good.
Just kind of Eddie, after he was cleaned up with the short hair and stuff.
It's hard to even recognize him.
Yeah. I always thought if you guys know, Billy Joel Greatest Hits Volume 3, there's a picture of Billy and he almost looks identical to Eddie. I'll pull it up and show it to you. So when I first saw this, and then that Volume 3 for Billy came out, I was like, holy shit, it's Eddie. But yeah, and this is also one that we may or may not have to blur out because people get really upset by this photoshopped fake Siamese twin on the front. So, yeah, it's one I'm really, really lucky to have because I don't buy stuff because it's going to be valuable.
Yeah, it just winds up being valuable.
Yeah. So what's your next one?
Next. A band that we mentioned, but I don't think we talk much about their LPs. Queen, The Game.
I love this record. Is this a repop?
Oh, yeah.
Because the cover is just in great shape.
Yeah, it's very silvery.
Most of the time when you see this record, the cover is just beat to hell because it's that
mirror.
Yeah, mirror
But
finish.
yeah, the Queen repops are ones that I much rather have. I don't know what the deal is, but they're so much louder. I usually have my volume set at the same on the stereo, and whenever I put on a Queen record, these repops, it's louder.
I think these were half-speed mastered at Abbey Road, right?
Oh, I don't know.
I think they were.
They may have.
Yeah. The reason you chose this, right?
Crazy little thing called love.
Yeah, yeah. I love everything about Queen. I mean, there's nothing they did that I didn't like. They're it's so weird because they're super quirky.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, a song like Bohemian Rhapsody, there's no reason that should ever be a hit once, let alone like 3 times.
Yeah.
But they're super quirky, but they're just such a great band.
Yeah, they are.
And they have those quirkier type songs. Wasn't Crazy Little Thing Called Love Freddie's ode to Elvis? I think it was.
You would probably, I don't know for sure. I have not read.
Yeah, I thought that it was, he was such a big Elvis fan. It was kind of their ode to him. But the rest of the record's great too.
Oh yeah, this one took me a while to get because I was kind of waiting around for it to pop up on sale, and I'm like, I really want the game next time it's on sale.
Yeah.
And I think it happened not long ago.
I have an original one that I got from my wife's aunt and uncle. That was one of the inherited records. I'm like, yes, I didn't have it before then. But you got Play the Game, Dragon Attack, which is a great song. Another one, Bites the Dust, which might be their biggest hit in the 80s. Need Your Loving Tonight, Crazy Little Thing Called Love. Rocket, Prime Jive. Don't Try, Suicide. Sail Away, Sweet Sister, Coming Soon, and Save Me.
But yeah, it's Crazy Little Thing Called Love that's our Queen love song.
You gotta love it, literally. And I love the picture of them because they're like, they almost look like they're trying to be the Stray Cats.
Yeah,
with all the leather and the hair teased up, pompadour style. But yeah, they're such a great band. I was just thinking the other day, he died in 91.
Yeah.
So that was 32 years ago.
Yeah, and this came out in 80.
Yeah, yeah. That's a great choice, man. So I told the story about being in New York City with my wife for our anniversary last fall, and we went to Brooklyn to a flea market. I was actually at the record store in the Ed Sullivan Theater building, and I'd heard a couple talking about a flea market, and so I was talking to him. I gave him a card and told him about the podcast. They actually asked where we were planning to go to pick for some records, and I told them, and they were like, "Oh no, you got to go here." So they told me to go to this place. I went to this place, and I found like 12 80s hard rock records, which for some reason those hard rock records are hard to find.
Yeah, and they were in great shape too.
Oh,
right?
And they're all in great shape. But this is one of them that I actually had on cassette when it came out, and it fits perfectly.
Ooh.
It's Twisted Sister, Love Is for Suckers.
Love Is for Suckers.
And this is a great record. It's not your typical Twisted Sister record. What I had heard before was that it was more of a solo project that Dee was doing, and then they brought the band back into it and threw the Twisted Sister name on it. I love the cover. She's got the Twisted Sister logo. Sucker. And it's just fantastic. But the song Love Is for Suckers is great. I paid $15 for this. Wake Up the Sleeping Giant. Hot Love. There's another one.
Hot Love.
Love Is for Suckers. I'm So Hot for You Tonight. Me and the Boys. One Bad Habit. I Want This Night to Last Forever. You're All That I Need. And Yeah, Right. It's a great record. Twisted Sister is Dee Snider, basically.
Yeah.
It's so funny because those guys are from Long Island. They kind of late 70s through early 80s, they were playing shows at clubs around Long Island. A couple of these clubs would hold like 2,000 or 3,000 people, and they just couldn't get signed. It was funny because I've only had this record for like 4 or 5 months, and as soon as you were talking about doing a love show, I'm like, well, Love Is for Suckers.
Love Is for Suckers
is a great record.
That's
to bring
perfect.
For that.
Yeah,
I just always thought the cover was so cool.
Yeah,
I originally had it on cassette, which artwork on cassettes just blew.
Yeah. Well, and CDs was not much better.
Right. Well, at least CDs was a little bit closer to the 12 by 12 here, but. That's the great thing about records, man. That it's not just a jacket for the vinyl. It's a canvas.
Yeah, you get some art.
Yeah, it's very cool. We'll have to listen to this because it's great.
All right, so let's talk about when you fall in love with someone, you get married. Sometimes a baby is the next step. So I don't know if that's necessarily love, but it, on the surface, it's supposed to be love.
It's responsibility.
It's responsibility. So
shared responsibility.
She's having a baby.
Nice. That's a great movie.
Yes, it is good. John Hughes came out in 1988.
Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon's an actor. I really like everything he's in for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Even Animal House.
Oh, yeah.
Where he gets paddled.
Yeah.
That's a great call. I don't even what's on this? I don't even remember.
Well, it has two, a he side and a she side.
Ah, I didn't know that.
So they really tried to make the soundtrack a little bit like the movie.
Kind of a theme for the soundtrack. That's cool.
Which is fun. It wasn't just a straight up soundtrack. So,
Elizabeth McGovern. I love this movie. It's great. Is that Alec Baldwin?
Yes.
Oh, man. I totally forgot he was in it, too.
And the original score was done by Stuart Copeland.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No kidding. Huh. Hughes Music and IRS. Is that the IRS?
Yeah, that's the IRS. I think most of his soundtracks were on IRS. I don't know.
Huh. I'm just learning so much today.
I love the IRS logo is my favorite by far.
It's super distinctive. You have a lot of soundtracks though. You love those.
Yes.
You love those collections, right?
Oh yeah.
Is this the score?
No, it's the soundtrack.
Oh,
so.
Okay. So we've got She's Having a Baby, Haunted When the Minutes Drag, Desire.
And this is the he side.
Yeah. Happy Families, Crazy Love. That's Brian Ferry.
Yeah.
You Just Haven't Earned It Yet. This is the she side. Apron Strings, This Woman's Work, It's All in the Game, and Full of Love. How long have you had this one?
I think I probably got it when the film came out.
Really?
Yeah. Because Heidi and I my wife saw the film together.
Yeah.
We weren't married yet, but we saw the film together and we really liked it.
Speaking of love.
Yeah.
That's very cool. I love the cover of this too. I would have expected them to plaster Kevin Bacon and Elizabeth McGovern's face all over it, but it's just white with black.
Yeah, with
type on it.
Led Zeppelin logos.
One of those is Jimmy Page, right?
Yeah.
That's very cool. What, it was 88?
Yeah.
I would have thought that it was earlier in the 80s than that. Huh.
Romantic comedy.
Yeah. Yeah. It really is a cute movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I think for whatever reason that You Just Haven't Earned It Yet, Baby by Kirsty MacColl.
Oh, okay.
She was a big singer in the 80s.
Okay.
And I don't know. I really like that song.
Is she talk singing?
Probably. And then, of course, Desire, Gene Loves Jezebel. That's when Kevin Bacon goes to the club with Alec Baldwin, his old buddy.
That's right.
And he's like, "Oh, you gotta hook up."
Yeah, yeah. Alec Baldwin being a good influence on his friend. That's a great call. I don't think I brought any soundtracks.
What's next?
Marvin Gaye Live. Look at that cover, right?
I've heard about this album, that this is a great one to get.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's just got great songs on it, man. 1973, he released Let's Get It On, which made him the biggest selling Motown artist during his lifetime. This came out...
I think the first time I heard about this, somebody on the Amoeba What's in My Bag had this.
Oh, that's right.
And I'm like, I was taking notes. I'm like, I got to get that.
Yeah, it's a good one. Bill, our friend Bill Hayes, on Facebook Marketplace, somebody was selling a bunch of records, and he bought them.
Oh, I'll buy them all, yeah.
And it was like 3 tubs of records, and most of them were funk and soul, which I just love.
Yeah.
And most of them are in great shape too. So, but this is a good one. That starts with the introduction, overture, Trouble Man, Inner City Blues, Make Me Want to Holler, Distant Lover, Jan.
Distant Lover.
Yeah.
See?
What's Going On? Well, the second side, I'll Be Doggone. It's kind of a medley. Try It, Baby. Can I Get a Witness? You're a Wonderful One. Stubborn Kind of Fellow. How Sweet It Is to Be Loved by You. Let's Get It On. And What's Going On? You can't go wrong with Marvin Gaye. I mean, he's another one of those soul voices that, God, lost way too soon. Tragically. It seems like a lot of those soul singers just died way too early.
Yeah, and a lot of them were amazing performers.
Yeah.
I mean, besides having a great voice, their live shows were just amazing.
Yeah. So I just love the cover.
Yeah.
It's so cool. And then on the back, you've got a couple, there's he and Tammy Terrell and just a couple black and white shots of him performing. So.
And it's a double LP.
Yeah. Double. Oh, I didn't read the other songs. You're All I Need to Get By, Ain't Nothing Like the Real Thing, Your Precious Love, It Takes Two, Ain't No Mountain High Enough, Distant Lover, Closing Theme.
That is a love album.
Yeah. So side 4 is just Got to Give It Up. Bugsy Wilcox on drums, Marvin Gaye keyboards, Jack Ashford tambourine and hotel sheet. I don't know what that means. Johnny McGee on guitar, Frankie Gaye and Jan Hunter background vocals.
Was Frankie Gaye related?
It must have been.
Yeah.
Because it's spelled the same way.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah. That's a good one.
That is a good one.
It's awesome to get those older records in good shape.
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of older records, man, it's one or the other isn't good. The jacket, if the jacket's not good.
Yeah, this whole thing. I mean,
yeah. Since we're effing around with it, let's look at the gatefold.
Oh, yeah.
Although the bottom of this is effed up. But you got a few more pictures that I love this. This is cool.
Look at that coat. I want that coat.
The white suit with a black shirt and
That's a good
fur
look.
coat. Yeah, I think you could pull it off.
I want to pull it off.
As long as you have the songbird hat on.
Yeah.
To top everything off. What's your next one?
Next on my list. Okay. Well, you know, I'm going to stay in this. I should have actually done this one before the other one.
Well, we can change the order in the editing.
No, we're not doing that. The Wedding album.
Oh, nice.
So
Leon.
Leon and Mary Russell. The Wedding album. And this is an album that our buddy Seth recommended.
Yep.
And I've picked up a couple of Leon Russell albums, and there's some that I'm like, that's okay. This one is really pretty good.
I love him. He's just so off the beaten path.
There they are, smooching on the other side.
Nice. Rainbow in Your Eyes, Like a Dream Come True. Love's Supposed to Be That Way.
Love's Supposed to Be That Way.
Fantasy, Satisfy You. Side 2 is You Are On My Mind. Lavender Blue, Quiet Nights, Wind Song, and Daylight. And this is produced by Leon and Mary Russell.
Yeah, and they, let's see, this is his then wife.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you know, music artist, it's not going to last.
There's a proclivity for multiple significant others.
And this was their first album as a team.
Yeah.
And they performed Satisfy You on SNL in '76.
Oh, we'll have to look that up.
Yeah, so that was in the early days of SNL.
Yeah, I just love Leon's voice.
Yeah, he has a great voice.
Great piano player. He and Elton did a record together. I want to say about 15 years ago, but it was really good. I think Leon had kind of, you know, his career had kind of dissolved, and he didn't. I think he might have been in some financial trouble, and Elton got together with him and released the album, and that actually revived his performing career until he died. So
that's great.
Elton, you know, for all his idiosyncrasies, it seems like he's just a good dude.
Yeah, he's just somebody out there wanting to help out his fellow musicians.
Yeah, I mean, a Queen all the way, but a good dude at heart. So that's a very good call. Have you listened to this much?
Not much, a couple times. I love Leon's look.
Yeah.
All these guys in the 70s had good looks.
Yeah, yeah. It's not something that most dudes could pull off.
No.
But I don't know. It seems like as soon as you become a star or a pop star, that gives you free reign to like wear whatever you want.
I'm much more for the suits.
Yeah.
Than like leather and chains.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like the suits look.
So you're not into leather and chains?
I can be into leather and chains, but if I'm gonna waltz around on stage, I want that look.
Okay. Well, I thought this episode was getting into a different area.
No.
Oh, okay.
Not yet.
This next one, I think I can safely say is probably my favorite love song. Has my favorite love song on it.
Oh.
I don't remember where I got it, but this is a Rhino Records release of the Turtles' greatest hits, and the song Eleanor is absolutely my favorite.
Why
song.
Is that?
Because it's a smart-ass love song.
Oh.
But on the surface, people listen to it, and they just think it's a lovely song about this woman, but...
It's about Eleanor.
Yeah. Eleanor, gee, I think you're swell, and you really do me well. You're my pride and joy, etc.
Yeah.
I mean, who was recording love songs with smart-ass lyrics like that in the 60s?
The Turtles.
Yeah.
That's who.
I love it. And, you know, obviously Happy Together's on here, too. It Ain't Me, Babe. Let Me Be. You, Baby. She's My Girl. Can I Get to Know You Better? Love in the City. Eleanor. Happy Together. She'd Rather Be With Me, which is another great song. You Know What I Mean. Sound Asleep. You Don't Have to Walk in the Rain. You Showed Me. And The Story of Rock and Roll. Which is a Nilsson tune.
Ooh.
So... I love the cover here,
and that
too.
was one thing, you know, that era, there were a lot more love songs were a bigger way to go for bands.
Yeah, yeah. I think I might have gotten this at one of the early Alpha shows we went to, and I left the tag on it.
I need to start doing that.
Near Mint, 1982. Now that's 41 years old.
Yeah.
So... yeah, it's great. These guys were fantastic. So many hits, and I think also another one of those just overlooked bands.
Oh, yeah. There are so many.
Yeah. Yeah, man. And it sounds good, too.
All right. This one's going to shock you. And the only reason I bought this record for $1. $1 American dollar.
Nice.
And I bought it for one song. And it's a love song.
Oh, I can't wait to hear what it is.
And I think the reason I like this song is because I heard it on the radio in cars with family members in the 70s so often that it was ingrained.
AM radio, man.
Yeah, it was one of those things. I got to have that. Good old Captain and Tennille.
I love Captain and Tennille, man. I love the cover of this.
Well, Love Will Keep Us Together. I just noticed it's a quad CD4. I don't know what that means. Maybe it's a quad record?
It's a quad mastering record, I would guess. Yeah. How cool.
$1 American dollar.
$1 American dollar. So you've got Love Will Keep Us Together, Disney Girls. That's weird. The Way I Want to Touch You, Cuddle Up, The Good Songs, God Only Knows, Honey Come Love Me, Feel Like a Man, Broady Bounce, Gentle Stranger, and I Write the Songs, which was a hit for Barry Manilow. Ironically, he didn't write it.
But Love Will Keep Us Together. I mean...
which is also ironic because they just got divorced.
Yes. But I mean, you know, hey, let's start a band. I'll wear a captain's hat and I'll go by Captain.
There you go. Toni Tennille, I think she's a babe.
Yeah. So that, you know, and this is a very unlikely cover.
Oh,
the dude has the captain's hat on and they're holding these English bulldogs.
Yeah.
Love Will Keep Us Together. Evidently not.
Yeah, well, you know,
sorry, guys.
It's the thought that counts.
Yes.
That is shocking to me on many different levels. This has to be like from what, like 78?
It came out, 73.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Man, timeline is all off.
Well,
yeah, I remember hearing...
Well, wait, I may have lied. That's when Neil Sedaka, yeah. I'm not saying that.
That's when Neil Sedaka what?
That's when he wrote the song and first recorded Love Will Keep Us Together in 73. They released it in 75.
Oh, okay.
It was a cover.
Yeah.
I've had a couple of covers on the show.
Yeah, well, you love covers.
I do.
Yeah. And you love covers of covers.
Sure. And I think they made it more popular than Neil.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in the 70s, it was okay if a pop artist released a song and then somebody released it.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, in the 60s, the Beatles did that.
It was happening a lot.
Yeah.
That was like part of the game.
Yeah. And that's become less and less common.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, a good song's a good song. Just because it doesn't become a hit when it's released at first doesn't mean it's not a good one. So that's awesome, man. You whipped out the yacht rock on me.
Yeah, it's yacht rock.
Doesn't he usually have a pipe too? Or sometimes?
I'm sure he does.
Or at least he should.
That captain's hat just really throws me for a loop.
And it's a weird captain's hat too, because aren't captain's hats usually white?
Well, I know the captain in Gilligan's Island always wore a white hat.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right, little buddy.
You need a captain's hat now. We're stuck on this island.
Rock and Soul Part 1, Daryl Hall, John Oates. This is a Walmart pressing of this on red vinyl. And as far as we should do a greatest hits show.
Yeah, we really should.
Greatest hits. Right?
Yeah.
This would be on it for me. I just don't think you can beat this collection of tunes. Sarah Smile, Then She's Gone. Those two songs are probably my favorites by these guys. Rich Girl, Kiss on My List, You Make My Dreams, Private Eyes, I Can't Go For That, No Can Do. Maneater, One on One, Wait For Me, plus two new songs, Say It Isn't So, and Adult Education.
So yeah, this would be a good soundtrack for your Valentine's dinner as well.
You got some harder rocking songs, you got some slow stuff. Like I said before, the Daryl Hall has one of the best soul voices ever. And their music is just so catchy and memorable. And yeah, I love it. I love the cover too. It's kind of an abstract drawing of the two of them.
Yeah, and when you think of love, you think of arm wrestling.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
It's so funny because I've looked at this thing 100 times and I had no idea they were arm wrestling.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure that's what's going on. They're arm wrestling.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're giving each other 5. Like, yeah.
They could. It's the rock and soul arm wrestling. Who's going to win?
Right.
Rock or soul?
Right. I think it's going to be a tie.
Yeah, it's going to be a tie.
This came out October 18, 1983. The cover of Rock and Soul Part 1 was illustrated by Nancy Dwyer with photography by Larry Williams and art direction on the original release by Jeb Bryan. Nobody cares about any of this information. I was just trying to see if they talked about arm wrestling or
if they,
high-fiving on here.
If they talk about the album art.
Yeah, but they don't.
Oh.
Anyway, I love Hall & Oates, and, they've got some great love songs. So that's why they made an appearance. What's your next one?
Well, I'm going to be a little cheeky. The Velvet Underground, White Light, White Heat. And there's a song on here that was intended as kind of a love song. Mm-hmm. It's not really a love song.
What a surprise.
It's called The Gift. And this is the expanded edition, but The Gift, it's let me pull it up here. So the Gift, it's the second track that appears on this album. And this was their second album. They came out in 1968. But it's It's a short story recited by the deadpan John Cale.
Mm-hmm.
The song, it's not really a song. It's more like a poem.
A poem with music.
Yeah, a poem with music.
Yeah, there you go.
And it's
very Jim Morrison.
Yeah, it's over 8 minutes long.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was written by Lou Reed as a writing project in his college days. And it's about Waldo Jeffers, a lovesick youth who's engaged in distressed long-distance relationship with his college girlfriend, Marcia. And after their school term ends, Waldo returns to his hometown, and he wants her to be faithful to him. And so he ends up sending her a package. He's in the package.
Ooh.
So I'm giving away the song. You know, this is like a spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert, folks.
Spoiler alert.
On a 70-year-old song.
Yeah. And so Marcia, to open the box, uses a knife.
Oh.
And
ouch.
It
doesn't end well.
work well for Waldo.
That seemed like a O. Henry story or something. A very dark O. Henry story.
It's dark.
And I'm sure it's all, I mean, John Cale reciting it, so
it's
talk.
He's not, he's just talking. He's not, there's no singing.
Yeah.
It appeals to me.
Those guys are just so out there.
And it's just that velvet underlying dirge.
Ethereal sounding stuff. I just noticed, first off, I forgot that this was on Verve.
Yes.
And then this logo down here.
Yeah.
Is with the banana on it.
Yeah,
that's very
for
cool.
For the repop.
Are there any other tunes on here that you like? Do you like everything they did?
I pretty much.
Yeah.
I really like. I mean, there's some well-known songs on here, but The Gift is the one that really
stands out.
Yeah, that's the memorable one. I mean, Sister Ray's on here. Here She Comes Now. There's tons of great songs. Stephanie Says.
And then there's additional stuff on this release. That's very cool, man. I've never been really into them, but they're definitely more your jam.
They were kind of the early. I mean, if you're doing a timeline of goth, they were definitely an influence to a lot of goth bands.
Yeah, and the like post-punk.
Oh yeah.
Type stuff too.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. All the English post-punk type stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very cool, man. Let's take a look at the gatefold. Oh, we got a picture of VU right here.
Yeah, yeah.
I love it. Wow. And they're holding the record.
Yeah, they're holding the record in stereo.
How cool. Excellent choice.
So you're next.
My next one is Raspberry's Greatest. There's just so many good songs by these guys. They were kind of the first, like almost bubblegum pop band, kind of forerunners of that whole thing. So you got Go All the Way on here, Tonight, Ecstasy, I Want to Be With You, I Can Remember, Overnight Sensation, Let's Pretend, Drive Around, Starting Over, Don't Want to Say Goodbye. And then Eric Carmen went on to do a lot more stuff as a solo artist than really the Raspberries. But I love this. I ended up getting this at a record show, and it was still in the, not still sealed, but
still in the original shrink.
Yeah, in the Capitol Records value.
That's an interesting cover.
Yeah, it almost looks like a newspaper article, and then there's editorial and cream of the crop, how it began. It's pretty cool. Eric Carmen eventually did.
When was he big in the 80s?
70s. Can't Live If Living Is Without You. I think he
did yeah. So he was very much he was kind of a Valentine like crooner.
Yeah, balladeer almost. Yeah, and then he had Hungry Eyes, Dirty Dancing.
Ooh.
Yeah. So he was kind of,
maybe that's why I was thinking 80s. Yeah.
He was kind of the singer-songwriter from the band.
Yeah.
Go All the Way. I don't think anybody'd be talking about the Raspberries right now if it weren't for Guardians of the Galaxy, because that was one of the big songs from that.
Yeah, it's funny how soundtracks and pop culture reinvents some of these bands.
Yeah, and a lot of these guys, I mean, I've never really been dug into the Marvel movies and stuff, but a lot of these guys produce these movies with soundtracks in mind, which is a very, very Quentin Tarantino attitude toward filmmaking. But it is true how this music kind of touches everybody's lives.
Yeah.
So even if it is a song that you haven't heard that much, you recognize it and it immediately takes you back. But I've always loved the Raspberries, and when I think about them, I think about the originators of power ballads.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and that goes without saying with, Eric Carmen's Future.
Yeah, absolutely.
Featuring Eric Carmen.
Yeah, the Capital Gazette, Hollywood, California. Yeah, you got to throw Eric's name on there to catch people's eye. Yeah.
When did this one come out?
This is a 1976 compilation album by the Raspberries. The album contained songs from each of the group's 4 LPs, which were recorded between 1972 and 1974. 4 records in 2 years. Most of the tracks on the LP were among their 7 charting hits.
They had 7 charting hits.
The group had already disbanded when this compilation was released. So, yeah. The Raspberries, we don't talk about them that much.
No.
What's your next one?
You know what they say? Finding true love is blind. The best little secrets are kept.
I bought this record because
Did you like it?
Because you told me to. I haven't listened to it.
You haven't even listened to it?
I haven't. I've got so many records I need to listen to.
Well,
but I do enjoy the cover.
This is one of those bands that popped up in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
And this thing was super cheap on eBay.
I think I got it I think I might have bought it from Amazon for like $14.
Or maybe it was Amazon. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But they were MOV presses. So it's a great press.
Nice.
I didn't even know that when it showed up. And, they're numbered, MOV.
Oh, that's cool. And this is only 152.
Yeah. Finding Out True Love is Blind is probably the big song this band. They also had some other Illegal Tender, Paper Doll. A bunch of these songs were getting airplay. Ball of Twine.
I need to listen to it.
Yeah,
for sure.
I've
probably heard it.
It was very much in that Strokes, Jet, that same vein. Yeah. It was that kind of music.
Okay. Early 2000s, just straight ahead rock and roll.
Yeah.
And we talk about needing ideas for shows, and we always do, but we should definitely do a show about nudity or partial nudity on covers of records.
This one's safe because you don't see the whole thing.
No, but there's definitely
there's nudity happening.
Yeah, there's it does leave a lot to the imagination. Yeah, for sure.
I love that they do the throwback at the top stereo.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just kind of fun. Yeah,
it's always cool.
Yeah.
In the early days when stereo became a thing, that was all over records for sure.
And it's Louis the 14th, so
very cool. Well, I have it. I need to listen to it and become more familiar with it. Ooh, there is an insert. Very cool, like some
instruments and
recording in the studio and stuff. And I bet these are lyrics, or no? Oh, it's another view of
the
lady on the cover,
semi-nude, or full nude, but
through like a translucent piece of glass. So
she's in the shower.
Oh yeah, she sure is, because you know why? You know why she's in the shower, John?
Why?
Because she's dirty.
Oh, and
I'm just kidding. I don't know if she's dirty or not. But damn it. I mean, that's the best reason to take a shower most of the time. Yeah. Sometimes. Good one, man.
Yeah, so it's
I love that the names of the songs are written on her back.
That's why she had to take a shower.
Oh, yeah.
Because she was dirty. She had all this writing all over her.
Whoever wrote Pledge of Allegiance, their kerning is off.
Yeah, it goes way over. Heather, can you turn to your side a little bit? We're missing the...
I can't fit IANCE on this sumbitch.
Can somebody just rewrite this?
Yes. Get the eraser out.
Yeah.
I have something that'll take that off.
Oh, boy.
That's a good one. I thought this one was appropriate.
Oh, yeah.
Sinatra's Sinatra. So this is Frank re-recording a bunch of songs that he had recorded earlier in his career. And look what you were just talking about. First time in stereo.
Yeah. So it's a big deal. Stereo was becoming a big deal. Do you know when it came out?
I have that information right here. Sinatra is an album by Frank, released in 1963. 10 of the album's 12 tracks are re-recorded versions of songs that Sinatra had previously released, with Pocket Full of Miracles and Call Me Irresponsible being first-time recordings for Frank. And the track listing on this one is I've Got You Under My Skin, In the Wee Small Hours of the Morning, the second time around, Nancy, with the laughing face in parentheses, Witchcraft, Young at Heart, All the Way, How Little It Matters, How Little We Know, Pocket Full of Miracles, those are the two new recordings. Oh, What It Seemed to Be, Call Me Irresponsible, and Put Your Dreams Away. You know, Frank is an original, just kind of the whole crooner thing. I mean, you had Nat King Cole before him. You know, there were other artists, but it seemed like from the very beginning of his career, he was the guy.
Yeah.
He was that crooner dude. And the only other person that I can think of that kind of started out that way was Harry Connick Jr. when he first came on the scene. He was, you know, he did the soundtrack to When Harry Met Sally, and I love Harry too. I mean, you know, you're comparing apples and dump trucks there, but Frank is always great to listen to on vinyl, and
for sure, it's I mean, it is without a doubt kind of, you put a Frank record on, and that's another soundtrack for Valentine's Day.
Absolutely. And this is even a gatefold.
It's a gatefold.
Yeah. Which, you know, single records aren't often gatefolds.
Especially in this time period.
Yeah. But it has a nice little jazz type biographical stuff in there. And, of course, there's Frank.
With his Lucky Strikes.
With his Lucky Strikes. The best thing for a person who makes his living singing.
Yeah.
You know, I was thinking when I was looking through these records earlier, I don't think I have any Sammy Davis Jr. I think I might have one Dean Martin.
I've got some Dean Martin that I've picked up at, like, you know, sales tables.
It's so fun to listen to these guys.
Oh, it really is.
I mean, it predates both of us, but such a cool interpretation of a lot of these songs.
Yeah.
It definitely brings, I don't even know where I got this. I'm sure it was inherited, but it's in really good shape. The jacket's in good shape.
But these old records are fun. One, you can pick them up for under $5.
Yeah, usually.
Yeah. And two, it's just, it kind of resets your way of thinking. You're thinking about rock and roll or jazz or soul or funk. It's different. Totally different genre. Yeah. It's great music to put on in the background and just kind of listen to and relax.
Yeah, I almost knocked that over. What it also does was it kind of harkens back to the music that your parents probably listened to, which is cool.
Yeah.
Maybe we actually make that listening party happen. We'll play some Frank. We'll play some Louis XIV. Just
some Velvet Underground. Everybody will leave.
Everybody won't leave, but they'll start doing heroin. What's your next record?
Oh, so next, and I'm gonna stay cheeky. Public Image Limited. This Is What You Want, and the reason I brought this is because the second cut is, this is not a love song.
Good old John Lydon.
Good old Johnny. And this record came out in 81. I did have a chance to see Public Image.
Yeah.
They opened, which has got to be weird. They opened for INXS.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
At the convention center?
No, this was at MSA.
Oh, wow.
And so Mr. Rotten is spitting on everybody in the front row. We weren't in the front. We were up in the balcony just kind of watching this all go down. It's like, oh, my.
He is just so hard to, I mean, it's so over the top how belligerent he is. And I know that was a British thing.
Yeah.
Not just the bands spitting on people, but people spitting on bands when they would play in certain places in Europe, too.
It was very much Blues Brothers. You know, we've got the
Chicken Wire. It's the whole Sex Pistols thing was very interesting, for sure. I mean, and he took that attitude to the nth degree
with Public Image.
Yeah. I mean, and still, I mean, I think, didn't the Sex Pistols try to do a reunion like 15 years ago or something?
Yeah, with Who Was Left,
Yeah. I mean, what NXS tour was it that you saw these guys on? Was it?
Well, it had to be...
Listen Like Thieves, maybe?
Probably. Well, I don't know. It would have been 88 or 89.
Okay, so that would have been Kick.
Yeah, it was Kick. It was Kick.
Yeah.
Because they were the headliner.
Okay.
And, you know, they're playing MSA, so they're playing a regular, you know,
arena.
Yeah, 15,000 seat arena.
That was a huge album for them.
Yeah.
How was?
It was good.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was fun to see.
Yeah. I bet it was awkward too, where the people in the front row probably had no idea what they were getting into.
I got to figure well, maybe not.
Because they were going to see NXS.
They may have been there to see NXS, but they had to have known. I mean, anybody in the front row had to have known who Public Image was.
Right. But wasn't there a time when he wasn't going as Johnny Rotten? He was going as John Lydon.
Yeah, but I mean, he was still pretty well known as a...
That would have been an interesting one to be at, for sure. How many records did PIL do?
PIL, how many records did they... Let's look at their discography.
Just kind of curious because
they were even putting out stuff, you know, they took a hiatus, they had a late career, and then they did a reunion in 2009, so they put out some more stuff.
Around the same time as the Sex Pistols reunion.
Yeah, let's see. So, I mean, technically... They only have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 albums.
Huh, that's more than I would have thought. John's counting. I can't look at a list of things and count.
Yeah.
I have to point to it.
There may even be 11, I don't know.
But more than I thought.
Yeah. I mean, this is without a doubt. When did I say this came out? I may have misspoke. 84.
84. Okay.
Yeah, this album came out in 84.
Okay. I figured it definitely looked a little before then. Elektra Records, too.
Given the Sex Pistols were done really before the 80s even began, PIL released 2 albums in the 70s.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Huh.
Their Public Image first issue and the legendary, this is one of my whales that I still haven't found a good copy, Metal Box.
Oh, okay.
It looks like a film canister.
Really?
And the records are in the film canister.
No way.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But the boxes are, you know, they're like crap tin metal, so they're usually pretty beat up and starting to rust.
Decay.
Yeah, decay.
Yeah, which might have been the whole purpose
of
putting them in there in the first place. That's funny. Yeah, I just got a Sex Pistols collection, because that's the only Sex Pistols I have. We need to talk to Bill. I don't know. Never mind the Bollocks might have to be a deep disc dive eventually.
Ooh, that'd be a good one.
Because Bill has an interesting theory about that band, and I'm not gonna spoil it, but yeah, that could be an interesting deep disc dive for sure.
Oh, yeah. I like it.
Yeah, good call, man.
Piqued my interest.
This is one record that I have always loved. I worked at a radio station in North Miami Beach when I lived in South Florida, and I heard Stephen Bishop all the time. And this is Stephen Bishop, Careless. There's a song on here called On and On, which is his biggest hit, but the whole record is great. You know, the yacht rock genre has kind of exploded in the last like 10, 15 years, and there's Yachtly Crew out there, and Yacht Rock Review, and different bands. And I kind of think it's a diminishing, minimizing kind of thing to call it yacht rock. But when you think about the people who are associated with it, Steely Dan, Doobie Brothers, Kenny Loggins, Stephen Bishop, mainly those singer-songwriters in the 80s that we were talking about earlier. But I've always loved his songwriting. If you guys don't know this, in Animal House, the guy playing guitar that John Belushi breaks on the wall, that's Stephen Bishop.
Really?
Yeah,
I did not know that.
I gave my love a cherry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've always been a big fan of Stephen. And this one starts out with On and On, Never Letting Go, Careless, Sinking in an Ocean of Tears, Madge, Every Minute, Little Italy, One More Night, Guitar Interlude, Save It for a Rainy Day, Rock and Roll Slave, The Same Old Tears on a New Background. So, yeah, and I love the picture of him on the bottom, just laying across there with his hat.
With his Adidas on.
With his Adidas, yes. All day I dream about songs.
That's an interesting take on that.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's funny because I follow him on social media. He's made a lot of interesting fashion choices over the years, and they'll his social media team will post a picture or whatever, and he's like, still have the jacket, still have the whatever, and all of them I'm like, oh God, not good, not a good look.
He kept those.
Yeah,
he kept those. He likes those clothes.
Yeah, why not? But he's kind of like an under the radar.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Dude, but just a great songwriter. And I think he won a Grammy for this record.
You go, Stephen.
Yeah. Don't be careless anymore, man.
No.
I think we each have one left.
Yes. My last one. It's cheeky but not cheeky. Songs of Love and Hate. Leonard Cohen.
Yeah.
I love Leonard Cohen.
Well, of course you do.
Yeah. He's a talk singer. So Leonard talks about they locked up a man who wanted to rule the world. The fools. They locked up the wrong man.
Interesting.
And that's what he has on the back. But that's not the track list.
He kind of had a late career surge.
Yeah, he really did. The tracks, Avalanche, Last Year's Man, Dress Rehearsal Rag, Diamonds in the Mine. Interesting. So diamonds are part of love.
Yeah, part of relationships, love, significantly attached.
True. And then side 2 is Love Calls You by Name. There we go. There's our love. Famous Blue Raincoat. Sing Another Song, Boys. And it ends with Joan of Arc, which is a pretty classic Leonard Cohen song.
Tune. Yeah.
This was released, guesses?
1978.
71.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Wow. Huh. And this is like his definitive record, really.
It's one of them for sure. Sing Another Song, Boys is a live version recorded at Isle of Wight.
Nice. I've always loved the cover with just the text and then the black and white portrait.
very jazz.
Yeah, it definitely is.
And this was one of those records. I think I picked it up. It was well under $10.
Yeah,
it was maybe $6 new.
Yeah, and I think it's on Columbia Legacy.
Yeah,
that's a good label too. I think Leonard Cohen is definitely not for everybody, just from his talk, singing, and just the timbre and sound of his voice.
Oh yeah, his voice.
Yeah, it's very kind of gravelly and scratchy, and
it's not your traditional singer,
right?
And I think that's why I like it so much.
Of course it is, John.
Yeah.
Why not? Why wouldn't it be?
Everyone knows the dice is loaded.
Yes. So my final one is, I don't even remember where I got it, but I'm glad I did. It's a Time Life collection called Heart Rock.
Heart Rock. Oh.
So, yeah, roll the eyes. But the first song on here, by Berlin, Take My Breath Away, which I never need to hear again.
Ooh, I didn't even think about that one. I could have brought my Berlin record.
Yeah, well, there you go. Well, bring that for the other show we were talking about. Joanna by Kool and the Gang. Total Eclipse of the Heart, A Woman Needs Love, Just Like You Do, Ray Parker Jr., and Radio, RAYDIO. In Too Deep by Genesis, Used to Be My Girl by the OJs. Side 2, All by Myself, Eric Carmen, who we just spoke about. I Can Dream About You by Dan Hartman. Lot of Love, Still by the Commodores, Just the Two of Us, Grover Washington Jr. and Bill Withers. Sexual Healing by Marvin.
This is a very 80s collection. It just goes on and on.
I think it came out in 1988.
There are three records.
Yes, so 6 sides. I love it. Keep on Loving You by REO Speedwagon. Paul Davis, I Go Crazy. I love Paul Davis too. He's another one of those singer-songwriters.
Well, and the cool thing about this collection, it spans all genres.
Yeah. Hold Me Now by the Thompson Twins. Being With You, Smokey Robinson. You Are So Beautiful by Joe Cocker.
Time Life Music.
Yep, Time Life Music.
It's very much like the old K-Tel records.
Yeah.
Because they would not... They once in a while they followed a genre, but sometimes they were just like kooky hits.
Yeah. I mean, this really is a great collection of love songs. And again, when we were talking about doing this show, this is the first I knew I had this.
Yeah.
And I've never listened to it. But,
well, you will Valentine's Day.
Yeah, LOVE, Al Green.
Al Green.
See, I didn't even look at the track list on this. I just knew that there was a bunch of 80s love songs. And then now I've talked about other people that are already on this. So, yeah, it's a good one. And I love the top of it. It says The Program.
The Program. Yeah, so this is the one you put on at the dinner.
Oh, yeah.
So go out and get a version of Heart Rock, put it on, sit down for a dinner.
Light some candles.
You got to have candles.
Yeah.
Don't burn yourself.
Put some rose petals on the floor.
Oh, we're getting very...
Maybe get your Jovan sex appeal and just put a little on your pulse points.
Yeah. Make some pottery.
Or maybe some... I want to spend a night with you, cowboy.
Well, I'm going on. What is it? Ghost?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was kind of a love story.
Yeah. Yeah. We've all imagined somebody's there that isn't, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun to talk about these off the beaten path records that we don't pull out very often. And maybe on Valentine's Day I will put Heart Rock on. You know, we'll or maybe I'll have it on my phone for when I take my wife to White Castle. White Castle is one of those things that you can have about once a year.
Yeah, it's not an everyday routine.
Or an every month routine, for sure. But it is fun to talk about these records that are kind of off the beaten path that you don't come across very often.
Yeah, that we wouldn't normally. And I think that's what we tried to do on this show, is talk about and suggest some records that, hey, some of these can be picked up for a really reasonable price. That's one thing we don't get into a bunch, but some of them can be picked up for a really reasonable price, and it's fun. That's how it originally started for both of us.
Yeah. I mean, if you're looking to bolster your collection, just don't sleep on the stuff that didn't sell 20 million copies. We talk about a lot of records that are very popular, that sell a lot of copies, have a lot of printings, a lot of pressings, and can be worth a bunch of money, but your record collection isn't made up of the value of your record collection. Your record collection is valuable because it means something to you.
Yeah.
And that's why we love talking about them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so fun to see some of the things that people will come up with if you give them, okay, we're talking about love songs. How are you going to interpret it? Could it be the name of the album? Is it one of the songs on there? I mean, everybody's got their own attitude toward record collecting, and it's just when I grab records like this, it kind of makes me happy because I've just got such a wide swath of stuff, and that's the best thing when you kind of step back and take a look. The breadth of what you collect is really kind of fun, and it's not necessarily something that you think about much. You just like what you like.
So tell us about your favorite.
Yeah. Any favorite love songs, share them with us on social media. We hope everybody out there has a great VD.
That just sounds so great.
They make penicillin for that if you need it. But we also would love more interaction with all of you guys. Give us some more suggestions for show ideas. There's 2 essential shows that we've left to release, and then we'll be off of that trail for a while. So just, get in the habit of checking our social media. We're trying to you posted a really cool Kiss story the other day. Just follow us, subscribe to the podcast, and make sure to check out the records from this episode. Check us out on YouTube. We've got the spring Crossroads Music Show coming up, so that'll be fun leading up to that. Thanks everybody for listening. I mean, it's a lot of fun doing the show. We've kind of shucked the 100 essential albums off of our shoulders, and we're moving on to bigger and better things like VD.
Yes.
And love, which, 2 great things that go great together. We also want to thank Keith Toombs and Jacob Hansen for helping us out with the show, the video side of the show. And, we're going to keep doing the show whether you guys give us suggestions or not.
We'll come up with stuff.
Yeah, we will come up with stuff, but we love your input and your ideas. Oh, I don't know that I mentioned to you, but I tore the hell out of my mom and dad's Beatles records when I was a kid, Mr. Russell. Haven't done that for a couple episodes. That was a necessity. So for Wheels, I'm Jay, and we'll see you all the next time around.